all we got to see is
primed up for
all
a
we got
giant
to
monster.
all we got to see is that the elves were old men that ran around naked with big dicks. I just was like, what is going on here? But
let's be fair, some of them had small dicks.
Those did not attract my attention. I don't know what that says about me, but I just,
Yeah, Old Man Dong came from that.
That's just one of those things, If you have a bunch of guys running past and you have guys with regular sized dicks and then a dude with a big dick, it's not even, it has nothing to say about your sexual orientation. You just automatically look at the big dick.
Someone's carrying a baby.
Somebody has a baby's arm holding an apple.
All right. All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I am Patrick.
And I am Andy.
And we are nerds who are here for our podcast proper for Sunday,
It is still January.
Yes.
This is our podcast proper, and this is our Listicle episode.
But let's start out with what are you drinking over there, Andy?
I'm having a Grain Smith's Maple Brown Ale.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Had it before, love them.
Sorry. Maybe this near beer gets me all phlegmy. I don't know. I'm finishing up the remnants of my Heineken.
Well, I'll remember that, and I'll get that anytime I'm speaking German. So help me out.
You definitely
with my
want
that.
So sick. So this is our listicle. And for this one, since we're starting the new year.
This is our year in review month. So we're looking back at things. And rather than just look back at the prior year, which is what we will probably do next time, this time, since it's our first time doing a year in review, we're going to talk about all of the Bonkers BananaPants movies we watched before.
Do you want me to list out all of these?
Do a quick list out.
All right, I will list out. We've had 52 Bonkers BananaPants Movie Nights.
Yes.
We've watched 51 movies.
Okay.
All right.
Because we watched Hubie Halloween twice, right?
Correct. Yes. All right. So starting, our first one was The Giant Claw. Then we did the 2019 Godzilla. And I'm just going to roll through these. Big Ass Spider, Swamp Thing, Iron Sky, Dog Soldiers, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Iron Sky 2, The Coming Race. Oh, sorry. Iron Sky 2, colon.
Yeah, you don't forget a colon.
Yes.
Colons are very important.
They are. Some might say they make the world go round.
That's where the pooping is.
Yes.
Hashtag dumb as fuck.
Six Underground, Galaxy of Terror, Kung Fu Hustle, Goke Body Snatcher from Hell.
There you go.
Akira, 1994's Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Yep.
The original Godzilla, Moon, Howl, Cabin in the Woods, Rare Exports, Guns Akimbo, Underwater, Boss Level, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, 1984's Dune.
And this is the new Mortal Kombat, not the original Mortal
Kombat.
Correct,
yes. Yeah. Fast 9, Dark City, With Nail and I, The Thing, Species, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Slither, Hubie Halloween, Idiocracy, Resident Evil, Pig, Death Race, The Batman, One Punch Man, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Gantz, Battle Royale, Time Bandits, Swiss Army Man, Werewolf Within, Hocus Pocus 2, The Frighteners, Shaun of the Dead, Hubie Halloween again, Adam Family Values, Violent Night, and Popstar: Never Stop, Never Stop.
Fantastic. Nicely done.
That's our 60 second summary.
That's our 60 second summary for the Bonkers BananaPants movie Listicle night.
Right.
So
I've decided I listed out my top 11 and the worst 11. Best 11 and worst 11.
I had a little bit of trouble with worst 11 because there are movies on here that are not
bad movies.
They're bad movies, but I'm glad we watched them. Yeah. So I did a worst, but I could only put 9 on them, and a couple of them I'm still on the fence about whether they belong in the worst movies bin. Yeah. But there were things that would recommend them to that.
Yeah.
So then I did my favorites, which doesn't necessarily mean these are the best movies on our list. They're just the ones I like the most.
Right.
And then I did ones I had always wondered about, and I'm glad we watched them list, like from top to bottom. So
I'm going in for a Hank's Gourmet Root Beer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is non-alcoholic, no caffeine, Just straight up root beer on top of my non-alcoholic beer.
Just straight up chock-a-block of sugar.
Yes. And you know, I bought this accidentally.
Okay.
Because these were in the cream soda ones that I bought.
I gotcha.
And so I got gypped out of 2 of my cream sodas. And I got root beer. I don't want root beer. Root beer sucks.
Root beer does not suck, but I take your meaning.
Now I gotta drink root beer.
Root beer is delicious. You don't like root beer?
No. No, I don't mind root beer. It's just not my favorite.
Okay,
like, I'm not going.
This is another thing. It's like not liking strawberries and stuff. You don't like root beer.
It's just super sweet. Like, I like a root beer float. I do like a root beer float.
Cream soda is not super sweet.
Don't question me.
It's another onion rubber band thing.
Don't try to understand it.
My reason for not liking this thing contradicts other things, but I'm not going to examine that. So
I don't like it because it makes me run faster. All right?
That makes entirely more sense. So I'm with you on that.
So I did a best, I did a worst, and then I did the most ridiculous.
Oh, fantastic. So you have an extra list too. Okay. Yeah. So you want to go round robin on the worst?
Sure, yeah. I mean, if we're going to do... I had a lot of problems with my worst as well because... Yeah, there are certain movies that are bad movies, but we had fun talking about them.
Yeah, some of the worst movies we watched were the most fun podcasts that we did, right? Because there was just so much to make fun of.
Right.
There was only one on this list that we did not have fun watching. That it was so legitimately so awful that we were just like, "What are we watching? Oh my god!"
Hubie Halloween.
That was the one.
All right, so
how dare you, sir? How dare you?
I rank ordered them because I have enough to do this. But, okay. All right, so number 11 on my list is Planet 9 from Outer Space.
Plan 9
from Outer Space. Yeah. Number 10 is 1994 Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Both of those are like. They're just bad movies.
They are bad movies.
They're known for being bad movies.
Yeah. Once again, that's the thing. You have
fun to watch, but they're bad movies.
You have to watch Plan 9, but it's not like you're going to really enjoy it unless it's like you're going to enjoy making fun of it afterward.
Well, that's like Room or a lot of these movies. Yep. They are so bad that it's good to like. They're good bad. All right, so let me start with number 9 then. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
1984's Dune.
I knew that would be on your bad list.
Yeah.
It's not on my bad list because I've always loved that movie.
Yeah,
I totally understand why you would feel that way.
Yeah. It's
well, once again, you have no history with the books.
Even if I did, I wouldn't like that.
Did you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book.
Okay.
Yeah, you made me.
I made you read. I made you got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made you got you.
Yeah. That was, it was hand in a box, the whole thing.
It was it was a minimally serviceable book.
It was dusty. I think I've read your copy of it too.
I did, yeah, that's right. That's right. I lent you my copy. Yeah. I have 2 or 3 of those copies, different types, different cover art and stuff. My number 9 was Rare Exports.
Rare Exports.
Yeah,
I didn't have that. I had that in my I didn't think of that as a bad movie so much as just.
Once again, I won't
for things to happen.
Yes, that's the thing. It's the kind of movie that if you were ever like, hey, let's watch Rare Exports again, I'm going to be like, but do we have to? Because I'm like, it was perfectly serviceable. It was a lot of fun to talk about because shit never went down.
And Old Man Dong came from that. Shit about to go down.
And there were certainly things to speak to it as far as the quality goes. I mean, it was an interesting story. It just never got to it, right? Yeah, like at the end of it. That's one of my favorite podcasts that we did. You should listen to that. Go back. That was like 2 years ago, I think. But
yeah,
that was a movie that could have done so much, and I just kept expecting shit to go down, and shit just did not go down. Like they promised things.
They captured Santa Claus, the evil Santa Claus, in a big block of ice, and
never showed him to you. He never broke loose. He never went on a rampage. And I'm just like, come on, man. All we got to see is that the elves were old men that ran around naked with big dicks. I just was like, what is going on here? But
let's be fair. Some of them had small dicks.
Those did not attract my attention. I don't know what that says about me, but I just You know.
Yeah, Old Man Dong came from that.
That's just one of those things, you know. If you have a bunch of guys running past and you have guys with regular sized dicks and then a dude with a big dick,
yeah.
it's not even it has nothing to say about your sexual orientation. You just automatically look at the big dick.
Someone's carrying a baby.
Somebody has a baby's arm holding an apple.
All right.
So that was my number 9.
All right.
And once again, it wasn't a bad movie as in those types, but it's just one of those that I've no interest. Rank order somehow. I've no interest in ever watching it again.
Yeah, I get it.
So
all right. So my number 8, Dark City.
I knew that would be on your list too.
Another one that
I can't agree.
I don't have a history with it.
I know. I love that movie. I'm not. That's an onion parfait thing. I would be very interested in dissecting why. I have friends that watched it and they didn't like Kiefer Sutherland's accent. They hate the movie just because of that. But I you know, as science fiction, and here's the thing. You're wrong and I'm not, because Siskel and Ebert called it one of the best film of the year that year. So, exactly. So,
all right, what's your number 8?
My number 8 was Time Bandits.
Time Bandits. All right, I don't have it on my worst list.
Time Bandits is a classic movie that most of us remember. But when we watched it again, I was just like,
it's kind of slow.
This is a little there. I mean, and once again, it's not necessarily a bad movie. Yeah. It's just.
I think we should just hashtag
yeah. It's
always keep saying that.
It's always an opinion thing. Okay. No, we will get into some legitimately bad movies here.
Legitimately bad.
But then there are films that they don't quite hit, but I still kind of like them. Yeah. And Time Bandits is one of those. It's as we watch it and it's aged, it's not really that fun as I remember. I still love. We watched it because of David Warner, and I love David Warner. And he's one of the best things in that movie as the embodiment of evil. Yeah. But, you know, that's probably...
his dumb henchman.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the second time I've watched that movie, and I really don't have any interest in ever watching it again.
Yeah, I probably won't. I think a lot on every one of the things here are... I would not want to watch these movies again.
Yeah. There's only one on this list that I might want to watch again.
All right, well, number 7 on my list, Galaxy of Terror.
Yes, that's on my list. Yeah. And it's a little higher on my list than yours. Yeah. That is a legitimately... And that's why we watched it, is because I was like... I said, I remember watching this when I was a kid, and it's a terrible film, but you gotta see it, man. It's a Roger Corman joint, and it's one of those movies. It's terrible, but you gotta see it.
Yeah. It's almost like it's an event film.
Yeah. I'm actually very glad that you put things like Dune and Dark City up.
Yeah, they're at the low end of my bad scale.
Yeah, low end of your list. Because once again, those are really just about the fact that you have questionable taste. They're, so if you had put them further down your list, that would have been a real problem.
No. Again, there are some movies that we've watched that are just pure garbage, like hot garbage. That
yes,
I think we're going to agree on several of these movies,
right?
But and listen, I understand people love Dune and Dark City. I get it. I'm okay, fine. It's just not for me. If you asked me to watch Dune again,
yes,
I'd be like, there was a reason I went 50 years without watching that movie.
What about the new one? Would you watch the new one again?
Probably not.
Yeah. See, none of it appeals to you.
No, it's so dusty.
Oh, you are such an onion parfait, man. I love it. I'm only in this podcast because I'm peeling them glass onion parfait layers back.
This is why I keep got to surprise you.
You peel some back and boom, granola. And then boom, it's like some kind of yogurt shit.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Not strawberry yogurt.
Yes.
No.
All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was one that I'll talk about.
Pretty good Dr. Doom costume.
It was one of the better Dr. Dooms as far as the shit that has come out. And it was actually, I really enjoyed the Thing costume that they built. God, they must have spent the entire budget on that thing.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. Yeah. The stretching effects were terrible. The flame effects
the flame at the end was the worst.
Oh my God. That was like, hey, we're inventing CG.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're doing.
We've got a screensaver that we might be able to use here.
We've painted like orange on I don't know, a stick figure. It was messed up. It was
we lit a bag of poo on fire and threw it across the room.
But here's the thing: for what we expected it to be, it was dramatically better
than that.
Yes,
it was absolutely.
It was actually very entertaining,
and especially since we watched it on YouTube and it was like pixelated.
I know, it was fucked up. Stuff. Considering the kind of casting that we've sometimes gotten in some of the like big budget movies, it was pretty well cast. These guys all kind of fit what. Well, I would have pictured from a comic book accurate standpoint. Yeah.
It might be the best Fantastic Four that we've had. All right, number 6 on my list.
Yeah.
Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is not on my bad list. I love Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, I know, but I would never watch it again.
Well, that's because, once again, your questionable taste. Number 2, you're not a horror guy. You're just not.
Yeah, I'm not a horror guy. You like
werewolves specifically, yes,
a bit more than me. But there are movies we've watched that like one of my best movies is a werewolf movie.
Well, and I know why. That's why because Sam Richardson's in it. Yeah.
No, Hubie Halloween.
That's not really well. Okay, I'll give you that. But it's funny that my number 6 is also a werewolf movie.
I'm guessing it's my number 5. Yeah, that's my number 5. Howl.
Howl was legitimately just a dumb movie.
Great to watch.
It was
great
so
to watch and
much
talk
fun.
about.
Yes, we got so many great jokes.
Were-Satyrs.
The Were-Satyrs. Danzig. What was the joke we had about the woman who was pushing the treat cart and we can never remember her name?
Nancy or whatever.
Yeah, because I think we titled the podcast about the fact that we couldn't remember the hot girl's name.
Who's Nancy again or whatever?
That was a fun movie. It was just like set up to be a werewolf movie. It was in no way a werewolf movie. Yeah, the fact that they had like crooked legs just made them goat people. It didn't make them werewolves.
They were angry goat people.
They were. Well, they like to kill people.
They were ornery.
Yeah. But that, once again, even though it was an awful movie, I can't say that I wouldn't watch it.
I might watch it again.
I know. This is the thing. So,
all right, well, that was my number 5. So why don't you jump into
my
your
5 was Galaxy of Terror.
Galaxy of Terror.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I'm surprised that Galaxy of Terror was lower on your list than it is on my list, since I'm the one that loves that movie and recommended it. But it is it's a Roger Corman film, which is why you have to see it, because it is one of his sort of better films, more modern. Yeah. And it was his attempt to kind of do an Alien sort of thing. And the concept is good, but I mean, it's just a bad movie. And it's only great because of the giant bug that kills the hot girl and takes all her clothes off. Yeah. So gratuitous. It is the second most gratuitous scene of any movie that we've seen.
Gratuitous. On this list, we'll be talking about other gratuitous.
Our joint number 1, which I can already predict, has the most gratuitous nude scene in all of movie history, that, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, Galaxy of Terror. If you really want to see a movie that's, I still think it's fun in a bad way, but it is a bad movie. Yeah. But it's one of those things.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever heard of it before.
No, I don't think most people. It's something that I saw, and I probably picked it out at the video store because it had kind of this sci-fi genre novel cover, video cover on it. Yeah. With the half-dressed woman and the giant bug and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, well, that looks interesting. It has a half-naked woman on it. I'm
a certain age.
I'm an 18-year-old young man, and there's a half-naked woman on this video cover. I think maybe
the internet hasn't been invented yet. So
and of course, I'm sure I watched it with my mouth open, like, oh my god, what is this?
Rewind. All right. Well, my number 4, Big Ass Spider.
Big Ass Spider didn't make my list. I actually enjoyed Big Ass Spider.
There's a lot. The production of that movie was poor. The concept was cool.
It's like a sci-fi movie.
Way over the top.
It's like a sci-fi movie where they ran out of budget before they finished the flick, right?
Well, I mean.
That was you will agree that was a legitimately funny movie.
It was definitely funny.
We watched it and it was played for laughs, and whenever the Big Ass Spider showed up, the effects were kind of just okay, because there were some scenes where it looked like they didn't finish them. My number 4 was Plan 9 from Outer Space.
All right, well, I mean, known for being a bad movie.
I know, but once again, it will show up on my other list of movies I'm glad we watched.
Yeah,
because it's famous for being a bad. You have to, of all the bad movies that exist, that's the one you have to watch. You have to see it at least one time.
You're supposed to watch Room as well.
I've never seen The Room. Have no interest in seeing The Room. I imagine, having said that you will bring it to the table.
I've never
sometime.
watched it either. So I don't know.
Well, damn it! Now we may have to watch it for a Bonkers Banana Pants movie. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Gokey Body Snatcher from Hell.
Okay, man, he's much higher on. He's not as low on your list as he's on my list. I'm surprised by that. Mine is The Giant Claw.
That's my number 2.
Yeah, exactly. So we switched on Gokey. Yeah, The Giant Claw is legitimately terrible, but it's of its time.
Yeah, Giant Claw. I think Gokey was more fun to watch than The Giant Claw.
Gokey was not fun to watch.
We had more fun watching
talking about it. Yeah. No, we had more fun talking about it.
Yeah,
especially
the people who were like right next to a Walmart and like
they were literally
we're starving.
We're starving on this beach, but if we went over that hill, there's the highway. The highway is like right there. Yeah. When that happened,
I could steal whatever car I want out of all of these.
Yeah. No, I mean it was a psychological examination of really stupid people,
Right. So our top 3 are all... Yeah, exactly. We have the exact same.
The Giant Claw, Gokey Body Snatcher from Hell, and obviously the big number 1, Swamp Thing, was just legitimately awful. That is the only movie in 51 movies that we were like, when will this be over?
Yes, please.
This is terrible. And it had the most gratuitous nudity scene. Adrienne Barbeau bathing in a swamp
for like
topless.
5 minutes. Like just way too much.
Yes, as much as she is hot and sexy and has great breasts, you're just like watching this, going, "What is going on here? This is terrible." And the weird rubber suit. There was nothing. Yeah. There was nothing to speak to this movie, and it's funny because I had fond memories of it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think I remember because we were both nerdy comic book kids.
It was the first. It was one of the book movie. It was one of the first comic book movies. Yeah, the first ones that came out. So you're like, hey, a comic book movie. But
it had Adrienne Barbeau, which hits different when you're 12, 13, 14
topless
years
for 5 minutes in a swamp. Yeah. What more could you want as a pre-adolescent?
A 6th minute.
Well spoken. That's right.
No, I don't know if we need to talk about that. Giant Claw was just it was an old movie.
Incredibly sexist. It was just the most we made a ton of fun about like the way they treated women in that movie, but
that's the thing. Like Gokey and Giant Claw, we have jokes from that
reoccur occasionally. Yeah.
Swamp Thing, there's no jokes about that we have from that movie. Even talking about it, it was just a boring, bad movie.
Yes,
agreed.
It
was not enjoyable to watch that movie at all.
I still remember in Giant Claw when he starts to try and make out with the chick who's asleep, and I'm like, dude, that is not okay. Stop it.
We got to bring her along in case the calculator breaks.
We have to bring her along because the calculator broke. Plus, we need her to make sandwiches. That's a joke. That's not in the movie, but we were...
I just love the spaceship that has, folding chairs on it. The whole thing was so funny. But that was a movie that was made back in, the 50s.
Right.
Before space travel, and so it wasn't like a throwback. It wasn't like Plan 9 from Outer Space that was like a throwback to those kinds of movies.
Yep.
It was one of those movies. So, yeah. Big bird. Big bird flying around.
I know. A big rubbery bird.
So do we want to go into our best, or do we want to go into our other...
We'll do our best, and then we'll just real quick run through our extraneous list.
So I have a few that are in my honorable mentions for best.
Okay.
All right. I have The Batman, With Nail and I, Boss Level, and Moon are in my honorable mentions for best.
Okay. None of those, not even The Batman made my best list.
All right. So my number 11, The Thing.
Okay. Not on my list.
John Carpenter, classic.
That is a classic flick, yeah. It was funny when we watched it because we had I hadn't seen it in so long. There were things to pick apart. Like, okay, he's building his spaceship underground. Yeah. How's he going to get that damn thing out of there?
Yeah,
mean, what's the point of this? So, at that point, it started to move. And I still love it. I still think it's a great classic flick.
I'm opening another 0% alcohol. Stella.
Oh man, you made me so sad over here.
Stella!
I'm so sad. I'm having a nitro milk stout, a delicious, hard pour it, creamy headed nitro milk stout.
I gotta put this Stella right on top of my root beer.
Okay, I want you to really pay attention to the cream on this. it's chock-a-block.
Not interested.
Well, you're smart to not be interested.
So, all right, what's your number?
My number 11 is One Punch Man.
One Punch Man,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, not on my list.
No,
Not on my
but
list.
this is funny. I've been talking about One Punch Man forever. It's an anime, and it's just over the top crazy. And I've been telling Pat about it, and he's like, he doesn't like anime. But I made him got him to watch 3 episodes of it for Bonkers BananaPants Movie, and he ended up watching the entirety of the 2 seasons. Right?
It's fun. It's a fun show.
And now I can make jokes about how about, and it's a superhero thing about a guy who's so powerful he can beat anyone with one punch.
Yeah. Because he does calisthenics and runs 5 miles a day.
and he never turns his AC on or his heat.
You don't want to be too comfortable.
I gotta say, in Japan, not turning your heat on is a dangerous business. So that's why he got superpowers. But I love One Punch Man, and that I got you to watch it. Got you to watch it was fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. You got me to watch like 4 episodes. I chose to watch the rest of it on my own.
This is a sign of success. This is why
you won me over.
I call that a big win, man.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Well, and
there's a lot of stuff. Anime.
There's a lot of stuff that I get you to watch, and I think you always appreciate watching it for the nerd credit it gives you, but it's not like you necessarily...
Except for the fact that I never seem to gain any nerd cred.
Well, that's on purpose, man. Anytime I got to get you watch some of this stuff, that you don't get nerd cred points for it. Now, at the end of the day, when we go to some Comic-Con, like in the distant future, you're going to have a lot more nerd cred because we'll be like, well, what have you watched? And you'll be like, I've watched all this shit. Yeah. So, I know it all. But anyway.
Have you heard of Gokey?
It's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies. It sucks.
It does suck. It's a study of how humanity's idiotic.
It's a study of how humanity does not have good GPS and doesn't know that the highway is just over the hill.
Yeah, right next to the Walmart.
Exactly.
All right, number 10 on my list, Shaun of the Dead. Fun to watch, fun to talk about.
Yes.
And it's just a classic movie as well.
It was more fun than I remembered it being when we watched it.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of that movie improves with rewatching because you catch things.
Yes. It's not on my list because it's not one of my favorites, but I do love that film. Number 10 on my list is Pig.
Okay. Pig's higher on my list.
Yeah. Pig is not high on the rewatchability scale for me.
Yeah, it's a tough watch, but objectively, it's a great movie.
Well, that's the thing. It belongs on my favorite Bonkers BananaPants movie list because it's not a movie made for rewatching, but I would rewatch it.
Yeah,
it
as a character study, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it was just that's why I added was Nick Cage in it to my list of is it a nerd movie because there's it's just a fun flick, but it's not
fun is not the right word.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's not a word you should use for that film. But at the end of it, it has this weird recipe of sort of great film cinematography, mood, character study, storyline. It just.
And there's like for a movie that's so contemplative, it has some great set pieces. Like the Fight Club scene, the
bit in the restaurant where he takes the executive chef apart.
Deconstructing the scallops.
Why are you doing this ridiculous shit? Didn't you say you wanted to do an English pub? What do you want to do? And he just takes that dude apart. I was just like,
and rightfully so.
Right. He's living a lie, man.
Dude had the temerity to bring out a deconstructed scallop.
A scallop, for God's sake! How do you deconstruct a scallop? It's one thing. Number 9.
Number 9 for me, The Frighteners.
Great flick. It didn't make my favorite list. I love that film. I will rewatch it again, but it's not gonna. It just wasn't in my top 11.
Okay.
Like it would probably have been an honorable mention. I do love that flick.
Yeah.
You know,
Fun to watch, fun to talk about.
yes.
So
my number 9 is Underwater.
Underwater did not make my list.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to. But this had a monster.
A fun movie to watch.
And got extra points because one of the monsters was giant.
Yes. Yeah. With all kinds of tentacle-y things.
I know.
Hanging down.
Well, I loved, as far as all the aspects of it, the claustrophobia of it, the environment of it, the monster. That's just one of those movies. I mean, I watched it. I made you watch it.
Well worth watching.
Yeah, I'll watch it again. I really loved it. It's just one of those flicks. And plus there's an H.P. Lovecraft element hidden away in it from the director's standpoint. So
okay,
that means something to me. It doesn't mean anything to other people and to you specifically.
Well, I mean, I know the words.
Those are initials and a last name.
Yes,
that last name is made of 2 separate words that I recognize.
I'm familiar with that racist.
Very true. Can't argue with you there.
All right, number 8 on my list. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes, that didn't make my list as one of my favorites, but that was a fun movie.
Fun movie to watch.
Great flick.
Again,
your list is very Nick Cage heavy, man.
Well, so far I've got 2 movies on there.
I know. Name another 2 movies on your list that have the same actor in them. No, I don't mean you to try and do that. That would be ridiculous. Think about it.
No, I have too much non-alcoholic beer in my system to do that kind of
I know.
work.
It blocks the synapses.
Yeah.
Now, that was a great flick.
Yes,
Pedro Pascal, a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's probably the only
scene where
meta
they get
movie.
up on when they get out high and like he's like on top of the wall,
high and paranoid.
Yeah,
well, that was in the trailer too. That is a great scene. That is a great scene.
Yeah. It's horrendous. I'll give you 20,000.
That was
pretty quotable, you know.
Very quotable. Yeah, it was fun to talk about. That was a fantastic flick.
Yeah.
Number 8 on my list is Werewolf Went In.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
I love that flick, and once again, I love werewolves, so
yeah.
I'm not going to put
great Sam Richardson in it.
I'm not going to put Howl on my favorite movies list. As much fun as that was to talk about, that's what I mean. That movie might have edged into my favorite movie list just because of how many great jokes we got out of that thing.
Yeah.
Man, what a piece of shit that was. No, it wasn't that terrible. But maybe. Was it?
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
Sounds like something it would be.
Sounds like something it would be. Is shitty.
Alright, so, number 7 on my list, Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle is much higher on my list, but yes.
Fun movie to watch.
That was a movie I made you got you to watch.
I had to kind of knock it down just because it's a Kung Fu movie, but like it was funny.
Not in your wheelhouse.
Super funny to watch.
Yeah. And the wire work kind of works for the most part.
Yeah, because it was so over the top.
Yeah,
like, it was intended to be.
Even the scene where he gets knocked into the sky and he steps on the seagull to kind of get a little bit more positioning. Yeah, all of it was just it was ridiculous and fun. It's one of my high rewatchability films. Very high on the rewatchability thing.
I've not rewatched any of these movies, by the way. But I would.
Well, we can. Well, no, there is one that you have rewatched. Number 7 on my list, Hubie Halloween.
Oh yeah. Higher on my list.
Yeah, we love Hubie Halloween. Yes, and we don't even have to get into that. We talk about it in almost every podcast. Yeah. So.
Objectively, it spawned like Schnein. You know, is that your VCs
on that paper? Do you have a dog? Do you have a big dog? So much. And, that's my boner.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that like you kind of have to if it's your type of humor, you can rewatch that movie a lot and find new things in it.
Yes, and very much so.
If it's not your kind of humor, you will never get it.
And you probably won't get it on our podcast either. Yeah.
What are you?
That's our sense of humor. So.
All right, number 6 on my list, Pig.
Okay.
A little bit higher than yours.
No, and I can't argue with putting it higher, but once again, it lacks a little bit on the rewatchability. It's on my list, obviously, as I said, because it's not one that would normally be on my rewatchable list. But I'm like, no, I'd be totally down to watch it again. My number 6, Pop star. Never stopping.
A little bit higher on my
I was
list.
surprised by that. I was thinking, like, is this
There's some recency bias. But it's still, like, that's a legitimately, like, you could, I would rewatch that movie right now.
Yes. Well, and once again, we watched it with you, and then I watched it with my wife later that evening, and giggled the shit out of it, like, a second time. So, high on the rewatchability scale, high on the quotability scale. I love Lonely Island. And
number 5 on my list, Werewolf Within.
Yep.
Yeah.
Say no more. The great Sam Richardson, man.
Sam Richardson, man.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him so much. He's not a Rahul Kohli. I'm not going to give him Rahul Kohli points, but he's all right.
A couple more movies like this.
I know, yeah. He gets a couple more parts like that. Guy's got great timing, man. Man, Sam Richardson and Rahul Kohli as cops in Chicago trying to solve a mystery.
Oh, man, with Elena Weintraub.
I'm so down, man.
Sold in the room.
We've already written a better mystery movie.
Sold in the room.
Number 5 for me, Death Race.
Death Race did not make my list.
I know that it didn't, but I made you to watch Death Race, which is a Bonkers BananaPants movie that's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it is
because I love that flick.
Yes. I can understand. Like I can see the argument that you're making. It's just not. Again, it's not for me.
I'm surprised though. Do you rewatch the Fast Furious movies?
No.
Okay.
No.
You love those movies, but they're not ones you rewatch.
Yeah.
Do you rewatch movies? Not really. Unless your children are like, "Let's watch this thing."
Yeah, I'm not adverse to rewatching stuff, but carving out time, like. I don't have the same kind of like, hey, I've got a free night. My wife's out. Like, let me see what I'm going to watch tonight. No, I've got too much Mentalist and Voyager to watch.
Too many face hammers getting away. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, what's your number 5?
My number 5 was Death Race. What's your number 4?
Pop Star.
Pop Star, never stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good.
But is it though?
Yeah, it sounds like it would be good. Sounds like it would be good.
It sounds like something that would be good.
I'm still disappointed that you'd never seen it before.
I know, man.
It seems like something you would have seen.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Doesn't it? But
yeah,
nah. Maybe.
But yes. No, there's no maybe. Yes.
Yes.
The answer to that question is yes.
That seems like a movie I would have run out to watch, man. I love that kind of humor. Number 4 for me, Violent Night.
Violent Night is my number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just love that movie so much. Can I really wait until next Christmas to see that again?
Yeah, you got to buy it.
I think
Could you watch that? You got Christmas in July, Christmas in June, or whatever it is.
I know. You there's a certain pressure to just wait for Christmas to watch it again to really get the full effect. But man, it was so fun.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing. Like Die Hard is a movie that you don't necessarily have to watch at Christmas.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you have to watch this at Christmas either.
But it is very.
It is Christmas.
It is inextricably linked to Christmas. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah.
Badass Viking Santa Claus. I mean, what are you going to do? I loved it, though. But anyway, 3?
The question is, well, that was my number 3, so why don't you go with your 3?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle, all right.
It's funny because, I mean, you're not a Kung Fu guy, but as Kung Fu movies go, this one is go. This one is great. Because it has great Kung Fu action. The wire work actually is effectively realistic. Like you don't disbelieve it immediately,
right? But also it's cartoony enough that you just buy into.
Right. The scene,
it's ridiculous.
The scene where the woman chases him and they go at super speed down the street, like Looney Tunes characters. I mean, they put that stuff in there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. When the snake bites him and his lip gets all swollen, and then he fights off the venom by beating the hell out of that. I don't know what that is. It's like a traffic circle container or something. That is one of the best movies of all time. So, man.
All right. Well, you want to go on?
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Cabin in the Woods.
Didn't make my list.
I love that movie, man.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It is on another list I have, but. I'm surprised that's so high on your list.
No, when I think about the movies we've watched,
right,
there are certain movies that come to mind right away, and I'm like, there's like obviously my number 1's there, Hubie Halloween's there, Cabin in the Woods is right behind it.
I have two feelings about this. The fact that I'm surprised that of all of these great movies that are on our list that it's that high. Because it is a good flick. But it certainly is not better than some of these things that we've seen. But it also means that our number one is the same. My number two is Akira.
Akira, all right. Well,
yeah, Akira
not on my list at all.
I know. Once again, it's just a testament to your lack of taste. But Akira is a classic and a fantastic film and groundbreaking.
It's classic.
But I get it. It's not one of your things. But once again, this is why you have a feces nerd card, dude. This is why the nerd card is intrinsically feces. No, I mean, it is actually higher, but I'm never going to admit to that on film. But number one, Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo. I did have Hubie Halloween kind of tied, just for the quotability of it, but Guns Akimbo is clearly like, it's top.
We watched that movie, we were like, holy shit, this thing is a fucking classic. And it makes us love Daniel Radcliffe even more.
Who knew?
Him as an action star. This is why you keep pitching him for Wolverine. Never going to happen, but after watching that movie, it was like, maybe.
It looks like something he could do.
He could do.
Maybe?
Nah. But maybe. If you have not seen Guns Akimbo, he made this flick and it didn't go anywhere. I mean, it was I don't even think it got released or whatever, but
I don't know.
Man, is it fun. Yeah. It is so great.
If you want to see it, if you want to see a guy who has guns bolted to his hands.
They've been surgically attached to his hands. He can't even pull his pants up.
Running around in his pajamas
and his big bear slippers and shit.
Such a great movie.
It was
so fantastic.
Such a good flick.
Yeah,
one of our favorites. We watched that thing. We were like, "This is so fantastic." We had fun doing the podcast on it too because it's just over the top enough to make a lot of jokes about. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, but also a fun story, fun villains.
Yeah,
interesting concept, well acted. It hit a lot of it hit a lot of my spots.
There you go.
So do we want to run through our other remaining list?
Yeah, we're going to do our last list, our extraneous list. You had a list and I had a list.
Yeah, I had, I don't have any, I took the rest of the ones and I just kind of ranked them in order of, ridiculousness.
Right.
And so there's not overlap between my worst and the most ridiculous. But, I think I can just run through this. My top 11 is Rare Exports.
These are the most ridiculous?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Gantz.
Yes, 10. Gantz. Gantz is another one I made you get you. That one is ridiculous. Yep.
Very ridiculous. Number 9, Species.
Species
murder, sexy murder.
sexy murder. Yeah.
Number 8, Swiss Army Man.
Yes.
That was
crazy ass flick.
Yes. Number 7, Death Race.
Yep.
Number 6, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah. Another make you get you.
Yes. Number 5, Iron Sky.
Yes. In all honesty, that is a movie that, I'm looking at it going, should that be on my terrible movie list? And I'm like, I like that movie.
Yeah. That's why I thought, ridiculous, because these are movies that I actually enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily
no, they're not going to make anybody's top list. But the second one was probably more closer to bad movie. But even that one, I kind of
it's higher on my more ridiculous because it's a more ridiculous movie.
It is because they're just what's crazy conspiracy theories? Oh, lizard people rule the earth secretly. We're going to do all this stuff. So, yeah.
Space Nazis on the moon.
But the Space Nazis on the moon premise was the only conspiracy weirdness that movie did. And it did it very well. It was actually very cool and stuff. So, they had space technology that was still 1940 something space technology. So,
yeah, it was.
That was actually a fun flick.
Yes. And all of these were fun.
That was early on in our Bonkers BananaPants movie history.
Yes.
So,
Then number 4, Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm. Pretty ridiculous.
But no plot flaws.
No plot
Not a single plot flaw in that movie.
Not at all.
So solid.
Number 3, Fast 9.
Fast 9, yeah. I brought that up to a buddy the other day. I'm like, we watched this movie and we're thinking, okay, He's driving a Charger through the South American jungle at like 80 miles an hour.
He had to go 80 to avoid the landmines.
To avoid the landmines. Like, he's not going to strip the entire my buddy's a car guy. He was like, that. Yeah, he's like, you were right, man. That's ridiculous. There's no way, man.
Number 2, Iron Sky 2.
Iron Sky 2, yes.
And the most ridiculous movie that we watched, 6 Underground.
I don't think that one actually... That was a great flick.
It was fun, but it was...
In your sort of bailiwick. Yeah. In your
but super ridiculous. Super.
But could you really say it's more ridiculous than, like, Iron Sky, Nazis on the Moon?
I think so, yeah.
I felt that was a more mundane ridiculous in the realm of, like, Fast 9. Now, Fast 9... Far more ridiculous than Six Underground.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it does deserve to be on the list.
Fast 9 had him drive off a cliff and catch a rope and swing across a gorge. It was
a cable.
There's just no fucking way, man. I mean, the ridiculous is off the freaking charts in that movie, man.
In fact, let me switch those. You're right, because I was less right on that. Yeah. You've convinced me Fast 9 is actually the most ridiculous movie we've seen.
Man, so ridiculous. I don't know. I can't say it's the most ridiculous movie we've seen. Man, we've seen some ridiculous ass flicks, but I can't say that 6 Underground. 6 Underground was fun, and it was over the top actiony. Yeah. But it would be like number 11 on the list. I mean, it was almost realistic with his magic machines that created the the magnetism to make all of the weapons go against the wall and shit. That was the crazy part. But is that in the realm of possibility? Sure, why not?
I don't know. Like,
how much power would those things need to draw for that kind of magnetism?
Maybe.
Plus, wouldn't all the fillings in your teeth like attract your face to the wall? Like, you'd just be banging your face against the wall?
Well, if you had certain kinds of piercings.
Exactly.
All right, well, why don't you
tear your balls to shreds? All right, my list.
Very balls forward.
It is very balls to the walls.
All right, what was your last list?
My last list was movies I'd always wondered about that I was glad we actually watched.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Number 11 was Big Ass Spider.
Okay.
I had seen that on...
I'd never heard of it before we watched it.
Every time I would be like looking... Because I love monster movies, especially giant monster movies, and I'd be looking through things to watch, and there would be like 8-legged freaks... Yeah. And various things. And arachnophobia. Big Ass Spider would always pop up, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether that's worth watching. It looks like a shitty movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to see it.
It was a shitty movie.
And then we watched it, and it was shitty, but incredibly funny.
Yeah.
And well worth watching. So I don't... Number one, it's 11, so it's way down the list.
Sure.
For movies that I like to watch. But okay. Number 10, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of those movies that people say, you've got to watch it.
It's a classic. It's terrible. It's so awful. Yeah. You got to see it. Yeah. And I'd always been like, yeah, you got to see it, but I never had any interest in it. We watched it, not like riff track style. We just straight up watched that thing. Yeah. And we watched it in your backyard. You had your projector set up.
Yeah. Well, it seemed appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. It was like watching a drive-in movie. It was kind of fun. Yeah. But, I mean, yes, legitimately a shitty flick, but so fun. Number 9, Fantastic Four.
Oh, the 1984?
Yeah. I had always heard about it.
Another one of those movies that you're like, if you're a nerd and you like comic books, then you kind of have to watch that movie.
Well, there was always this thing, because it was always like put in the vault, and they were never going to show it. Yeah. But there were always reports that it's not really that bad. Like, Roger Corman got a shit budget, but he was the king of making movies with a shit budget, and he turned out something that actually wasn't terrible. And we watched it, and we agree with that assessment. It was actually not that bad. Yeah. Not great. And
Dr. Doom had to do a lot of hand acting.
Well, of course, they're all going to do it, unless they I don't know. I sure, to help to God, when they introduce Dr. Doom, they don't try and do like a Tony Stark where they show his like deformed face
inside the helmet.
No, dude. Yeah, you can just make him.
Part of the thing is like not seeing his deformed face.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like the idea that he just has like a nick. And that's what he considers a deformed face.
That's right. He's got pink eye, and so he's put a mask on because he can't stand anybody to see that he's got pink eye.
Don't look at me.
I'm horrible. I'm a monster. Number 8, Species.
All right.
Yeah. Murder, Murder, Sexy, Sexy. I'd always wondered about that flick. I never really had a chance to see it. Never really got to that
fun
point.
Movie to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
It was well worth it. And
you got to see some sexy time.
And of course, Alfred Molina got some action, baby.
Yeah, the most unbelievable thing we've ever seen in any
That was
movie.
the most unbelievable thing in the movie. Is it Alfred Molina?
I'm saying in any of the movies we've ever watched.
No, I don't know. I've seen more unbelievable things. Number 7, Idiocracy.
Idiocracy, yeah.
That's a movie that I had always heard about, and it was always told that it was not great, but it was kind of funny. Yeah. And we watched it, and man, it was very funny.
Plus,
and
you get to
very much not great.
But man, you get to see
hot Maya Rudolph, super hot Maya Rudolph.
Man,
and of course, what is his name?
Dax
Shepard. We get to see
here.
Dax Shepard like covered up with a blanket, but baiting.
I'm baiting.
I'm watching people cut steak with their feet, and it's like super sexy to me.
I just jacked.
Feeling super mellow to this woman cutting steak with her feet. Number 6 was Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, I'd heard of that too.
For a long time, and it was not at all what I expected it to be.
No, I thought it to be much more like campy and like silly,
like sort of comic forward, and it was an A24 kind of like art film thing. Yeah. But with the great Paul Dano.
Yeah, Chinless Wonder himself.
Tell your daughter I said that.
I will. Yeah. But she refuses to watch that movie because she saw she would come in occasionally while we were watching it, and it is very flatulent. It is. There's a lot.
Well, one of the great powers of the Swiss Army Man is that he's full of degenerative gas. So that's where most of his power comes from.
It makes him into a firearm.
Yeah. And a powerboat. A watercraft. Yes. So ridiculous, so fantastic. Number 5, Moon.
Yes, Moon is definitely worth watching.
I have seen Moon on the list of science fiction films to watch forever, and I've always been kind of like, what is that about? Because the summaries were always very vague, and for a reason, because they don't want to ruin the ending. Yeah. And I was just like, but they always said that I can't remember the name of the main actor, but they always said he was fantastic. Sam Rockwell. I went right to Sam Richardson. I was like, that's not right. Although
a better movie.
I would have loved to see him in that part. It would have been more of a comedy, but
less sure of himself, maybe.
Probably so. But Moon is a fantastic film, totally worth watching. Number 4, movies I had always wondered about and really glad that we watched, Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Number 1, not one of my favorite movies of the ones that we've watched, but it's right there. Great flick. And I'd always kind of been
got a great conceit.
Yes.
Interesting little twist.
Yep. I'd always been on the fence, like, what is this about? I'm not sure what's going on. Is it going to be kind of like gory for gory's sake, which I'm not interested in? But I'm glad that we did finally watch it. It was a ton of fun. Number 3, the original Godzilla.
Okay.
I love Godzilla films. I love giant monster movies. I'd never seen the original.
Never seen it before?
Not all of it. I'd seen parts of it. I'd never seen all of it. And to actually sit down and watch it start to finish, was it like the funnest watch? Like a great watch? No. It wasn't. But
not the Godzilla that we've come to know and love.
No.
Either.
Yeah. It's an entirely different... This is a straight monster movie, dark, and it's really kind of a play on sort of nuclear.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what it was intended to be.
Destruction. Yeah, it's a sociological comment, really.
Yeah.
But it was. I'm very glad that I watched it. So now to say that you could watch it.
Yeah.
Number 2, With Nail and I.
With Nail and I. Had you heard of With Nail and I?
I never heard of With Nail and I until we did the listicle of cult films. Yeah. And that was high on the cult films because apparently in England it is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it either.
But it's after doing that list and thinking about it, I became a little obsessed with like, what is this about? Yeah. I don't understand this at all. And then when you were like, we're going to watch it, I'm like, all right, man. And totally worth watching. It just a bizarre flick, but it's really like a character study of an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a downward spiral.
Yeah. and it's Richard E. Grant who is
Loki, man.
Well, no, it's the fact that he can't drink. Like, the actor himself cannot drink. He's allergic to alcohol.
Oh.
Yeah. You didn't remember this?
I didn't know that.
We read it when we were...
Is this the one where the director actually got him drunk?
Well, no, he didn't make him get drunk. Richard E. Grant, from a method standpoint, said, I can't play a drunkard if I've never been drunk. So he allowed himself to get drunk, which, for someone who's allergic to alcohol,
that's gotta be
it's a very dangerous thing. I think they had doctors on standby, and they were really very careful about the whole thing. But I've read many articles that say it's commonly considered the best character study of an alcoholic or a drunkard, not an alcoholic, but an
addict.
Yeah, no, I can't remember the term they used, but just somebody who just isn't like an obsessive drinker.
Yeah, and
it is.
You drink like lighter fluid.
It's a ridiculous flick. They killed a rooster.
There was no meat on that rooster.
Well,
shoved it
they didn't kill it. I guess the guy brought that chicken to them. Yeah, and they didn't even know how to cook it. It's like two urban guys who go to the country to get away from it all, and they're just wanting to get drunk and together, and they don't know how to do anything, and so it's pretty useless. But it was well worth watching. And finally, number one. Movies I have always wondered about, and glad that we finally watched, Battle Royale.
Okay. Yeah.
I have always... when we did the podcast, I was like, I thought this was a movie like just girls' school trapped in a building fighting it out.
Royale.
I know, totally different. This movie had nothing to do with my perception of it. So, and it's a very well-known cult flick.
Yeah.
I think it was also on the cult list, and that's why
probably
I was just like, we got to see that.
Yeah.
So, very glad I've finally seen it. I finally know what it's all about. I finally know what all the hype is about. And it's funny because that's one of those movies that you watch and then you see other movies that were made later and even being made now.
Clearly. And
you see the way that it affected them. What's the term? The influence that it had on them. So if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say that it's an easy watch or a great watch or a ton of fun, but you really have to see it if you enjoy film because it's so influential. So there you go.
I enjoyed your list. I enjoyed my list. I'm glad they're done now, though.
There you go. Anyway.
So I'm looking forward. Next year we'll do
just the list
of the year.
Yeah.
We'll have to rank the movies that we've watched.
Well, what we did last...
There'll be like 14 or 15 movies.
We did last year, and I thought it was a ton of fun, is Pat would just read the titles that he would put on the podcast. I
forgot to do that.
Now, well, I mentioned it, but I was just like, this is...
I could pick a couple and just...
This is going to go too long. But what was going on is he would just read the titles and try and get me to guess what films they were for. Because sometimes they didn't have anything to do with anything.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
No.
Well, remember we said we would never guess Death Race because it was just some kind of Vox Populus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with anything.
Vox Popover.
Yeah. Something that we said during the podcast. So I was like, I'm interested to do that, but we'll do that next year.
Yeah,
something to look forward
to. Yeah, I'll make a note for 2024.
Okay. That's right. I got this shit wired, man.
I just jacked it.
Yeah. Hashtag dumb as fuck.
It's so schnein, bro.
Doink-de doink.
Doink-de doink.
Shit wired, man.
All right, well, the name is spoken, so it is time for us to wrap it up. As always, I've been Patrick.
And I've been Andy.
And this has been our Listicle.
I will, before you close it off, there was one catchphrase on Popstar.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, but there was one that I saw in some little clip that I thought was funny. Costco samples like a motherfucker. I thought that was great.
Doink to doink.
You guys are weird.